to talk about, and I hope it's real. But I I I get skeptical, and then I talk to friends of mine that have told me some stories and that are just like normal, down to earth people that have had the weirdest things happen to them. And I
Right.
fully believe that any woo woo story that's like a big one, we don't understand it. And that's why it's woo woo to us. Maybe in 100 years, we'll figure it out. But our next guest has said several times that she had some great woo woo stories. So I said, all right, woman, you're coming on. And that's all there is to it. Everybody, please welcome Kresha Easton from Difficult Research. Kresha is J.J. Vallow's aunt and Charles Vallow's niece and Kay Woodcock's daughter. How are you doing tonight, my dear?
I'm ready to woo woo.
Oh, we are so ready for
Yeah.
you to woo woo. In fact, hang on, I just need to put a banner up here so people know who
Thank
we're
you.
talking to,
Hey,
and
everybody.
we'll be posting the link to your chat
Thank
uh,
you.
throughout the night. Not to your chat, to your YouTube channel, and also we're going to be monitoring. There was
Mm.
a mass shooting today. It was at what's called a splash pad,
Oh,
and it
God.
was in kids. This apparently this guy pulls out a gun, shot a handgun, shot 28 times, stopped to reload. Um, I'm getting
Mm.
anywhere from 8 to 10 victims. Not saying what condition they're in. Nobody's saying that yet. And last I heard, they knew where the suspect was. He was in a house. I don't know. I mean, I've got it here, and I don't see anything else. Let me. You know what, guys?
He's, I
How about
already know what happened to him.
what happened to him?
He self-inflicted gunshot wound. He's deceased.
Oh, oh crap!
Yeah,
Why do those guys do
Okay.
that, man? We need to
yeah.
know why. Don't kill yourself. Don't kill yourself. Oh no, no, no. You know,
Mm.
again, I'm not sorry that he's dead. I'm only sorry he's. The only thing I'm sorry about is we couldn't talk to him to find out what the hell, man. And
Lack of answers. Yeah.
yeah, and obviously a mental it's a mental illness problem, uh,
Yeah.
whatever reason. But again, you know, we can write this script. It could be an incel, somebody who's mad that the girls weren't paying attention to him. It could be for
Oh,
political
God.
reasons. There's no reason, no logical reason for anybody to do this. So
But just
uh,
kind of what's behind it. Like, just like
Yep.
with Alex, what's behind it?
Mhm.
exactly how.
Study their brains, like,
That's why
what
I
makes
would
them tick.
love Alex Cox to still be here to say
That's the only
how could
reason.
how
Yeah.
yeah, exactly how could
Yeah.
you do this to
Mm.
your niece and nephew and um and believe your crazy ass sister Lori. God
Oh, I
Almighty.
get
Chad.
it.
And Chad.
Have to
Yeah,
scratch
he
my
Oh,
believed
back.
that
and
too.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Chad exactly. But I'm going to keep running here. We may break away if they have a news
Yeah.
conference, but we'll keep looking. But anyway, again, Kresha, thank
Cool.
you so much for joining us tonight. Festus Mom,
Cool.
real quick, there was a mass shooting. It happened at what's called a splash pad in Rochester Hills, Michigan. Anywhere from up to 10 people were shot. We don't know the condition. The man that did it is dead, and that's what we know right now. So, oh, Rhonda, that's right. I
How'd
forgot.
you forget that, Trish?
We can text Alex. Remember, Kresha?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Just
Don't y'all
ask
know?
him. Yeah.
how could I forget? Oh, good.
I was
Oh
like,
my
what?
God.
You guys. Hold on, just a second. Hold on. Let me just text. Dear Alex,
That's
what
almost.
what the actual f? Tell me
Yeah.
what's going on. Love,
That's
Trish.
like
You
almost
suck.
crazier than everything else, I swear.
Thank God
Yeah.
you're a shit shot.
Oh, you know. So
Yeah,
deceased people have cell phones. Good to know.
that is
Soul
good.
phones. They're soul phones, okay?
There, that's
Oh,
right.
there you
Soul
go.
phones. Very good.
Genius. Very clever.
Roll phone. Marilyn Landis, I did just text him. I texted him and I said, what the actual F, Alex? Love Trisha. So we're going to see what happens.
If you get an answer back, there's a woo woo for you.
There you go.
Yes, yeah, to be continued.
Yeah.
So what?
Everybody, Peekaboo Cockatiel was about a mile away when it happened.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God.
she's okay. She's okay. But
I'm so
they are
sorry.
saying that with this new technology, and I'm not sure what it has, how it works, something to do with a police officer could hear the actual 911 call before they even dispatched him. And somebody was there within 2 minutes of this guy doing it. So we're just
Wow.
going to have to wait and see. Yeah.
I feel for them. Oh my
I do
God.
too. I do too. Okay, I'm real anxious. Kresha from Difficult Research, tell us your woo-woo ghost
Oh,
metaphysical story. What happened?
weird, and it matches the rest of the story.
Okay,
So,
good,
I
good,
mean,
good.
can
good.
we just say that this is not, the story that happened to my family directly, with zombies and astral traveling and portaling,
It
just
says
all these
nothing to do
weird
with the.
things. It does.
Oh, it
It
does.
really,
Okay.
some one for sure, that I'm gonna tell. It just kind of it. Okay, how do I say
We're
this?
ready. We are ready.
I begin with it because it's like somewhere in there I made like guidelines or something. And I don't understand it, so that's why I'm here too. Because
Mhm.
I don't understand. I just know that these things happen to me, and I shared them with my fiance Jason every time, every step of the way. Because I was like, I'm going freaking crazy. I'm going crazy, And he was like, No, you're not going crazy. Like it was
Well, we are
just
anxious, but
crazy things.
I do want to put this up because Alex, your uncle, was a
No,
stand-up
not
comic.
my uncle. No, he wasn't my uncle.
Well, I thought he. Oh no, I'm sorry, your
Oh,
cousin.
yeah.
That's
Cousin.
No,
Megan's cousin. Yeah.
yeah. No
Sorry.
relation to
No,
Kresha.
no relate. I'm sorry.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Sorry. No relation. No, you related to the kids and to Kay. Sorry about that.
And Charles. Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry. I see. I get
It's
all.
okay. It
Hang
is
on.
very confusing.
Yeah,
There's
It
a lot of
hold on.
is.
dynamics.
I
A
do want to
lot of
put
people.
this up. Where'd it go? It was from I Hate Chocolate, and it was perfect. Hold on, I'll find it. Just a second.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Hold on. Where'd it go? I just saw it.
You're in trouble. Yeah.
There it is.
That one? Yeah.
Yes. Alex Cox was a stand up comedian, and there's a little bit of his stand up act on YouTube. And this
Yeah.
is one of the things he says. Did you ever think you did something good? Then you find out it's a felony. And that's when he zapped Joe Ryan in the testicles and
He
got
was
arrested.
bragging about it through
Yeah, he
his
talks about
mic.
it. Yeah.
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 So you need to text Alex that too, that
Oh,
question.
yeah, I
Let
will
us know.
find out what's going
Oh
on.
my
Okay.
God.
So tell us just in a very, clinical, point by point way what happened.
So my stepdad died. This was the one, I mean, he was my stepdad before Larry. Larry's my
Mhm.
stepdad. Larry's been around since my son was like 3 months old and my son's 24. So
Wow,
he's been
okay.
around for a long time. I love Larry to death. Oh my God.
Larry
He's the
Woodcock.
best stepfather, the best grandfather to my children, I mean, just hands down.
He is a good
But
guy.
before he existed, my mom was married to a guy named Robert, and we called him Roby for short.
Mhm.
And I really didn't care for him at all. I mean, I was just like, I don't know if it's because he came into my life when I was 14 and I was just like, mine. This is my home, my
Right.
family. And I was just my own kind of zombie, if you know what I'm saying. I was
Mhm.
a bitch. Hormones, can I say
Okay.
hormones?
Sure.
Well, so Roby died. He suffered a head injury that happened at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino right when the weekend that Princess Diana died.
Mm.
So that happened, and he was never the same. Like when he died, me and mom kept finding, of all things, mozzarella cheese sticks and standback or BC powders hidden in different little spots. It
What?
was weird. But I
Okay.
mean, I know, I don't know. And let's see, I had just gotten married around this time. This was around, he got hurt in 97, and
Hmm.
then in 99 is when he died. He died a month and a half before I gave birth to my son, my first child.
Okay.
And it was like a month, yeah, exactly a month and a half. He died on November 14th, 1999, and I gave birth January 1st. So, and he kept telling me, when I came back from the doctors with uh, telling me the gender of the baby, and it was a girl. It was a girl. Oh my God, we were so excited
And
to
that's what
have a
he was
girl.
saying. And that's what he was
He
saying.
kept telling me it was a boy.
Oh,
He was
okay.
like, "It's a boy," and I was like, "No." And I
Hmm.
put the VHS in, and I was like, "It's a girl," and it,
Hmm.
it was not a girl, but whatever, you know. Anyways, so that's just one, right before he died. And he even asked me, he was like, "Can I babysit?" And I knew that he was not mentally capable of doing that, but I was like, We'll see. We'll see."
Right.
But so he suffered that head trauma. And then my mom called me. I was doing the payroll for my Uncle Bobby. A lot of you have heard his call into Chandler Police Department. It's my
Yes.
uncle.
Yes.
He's the baby. So, and he's so big. He's like 6'4". I mean, just
Right.
big. But anyway, so I let me get back on track.
You
This
want me to? I
happens.
can help you get. I'll help you stay on track. How's that?
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
So I was doing payroll at my Uncle Bobby's plumbing company for my Uncle Bobby's plumbing company, and I had to do it by
Hmm.
hand. So I mean, it was an all day Friday thing. And my mom called and she was like, "Hey, can you get your husband, my ex-husband at the time, or my ex-husband now, my husband at the time, to go check on Roby? I just, he's not answering. He also suffered from like seizures and things like that. So he wouldn't take baths, he wouldn't go swimming because he had a seizure disorder.
Hmm.
So he would take showers instead and so on. Well, it turned out, so I called my ex-husband or my husband at the time, and I hold on, I shouldn't look at the comments at
No, no,
all.
don't pay any.
But
I'm going to be putting comments up. Don't
let
pay
me
any
turn that off.
attention to them. Okay. Don't pay any attention to them.
And
Go.
I
Go
took my medicine, so here we are.
ahead.
you know?
Okay. So your
So
ex-husband. You call your
yeah.
ex-husband.
So he did go to check on Roby. It happened so fast and it was so long ago, so I just kind of have to brush through this. But
Sure.
down to it, we all show up. My mom beat me there. I don't know how because she worked at Northrop Grumman at the time, and I mean she was way further than I was, and she beat me home to her house. And we get there, and my ex husband's outside, and he just kept spitting, and I was like, "What? Whatever." Roby
Hmm.
was a smoker, so just put a tab in that. So I go in and my mom's pacing in the living room and the EMTs are in the bathroom with Roby. Mom had adopted a dog for Roby to keep him company during the day while she worked. Okay.
Hmm.
And he had told mom before she couldn't talk to him, she couldn't get a hold of him anymore that day. He told her that he was going to bathe the dog Maddie. That was the name of their dog, Maddie.
Hmm.
And but he told her that he was feeling real jittery, like a seizure was coming on.
Okay.
So it turns out that Roby knelt at the bathtub and with no plug in it or anything, so the water was just draining straight away.
Hmm.
Well, it accumulated enough where when he was kneeling at the tub bathing the dog, he had a seizure. He fell in and
Oh
drowned.
no.
Okay,
Oh, I'm so
so I
sorry.
mean it was tragic.
Oh my
Very
I mean,
gosh.
and I
tragic.
was big and pregnant. I mean, holy
Mhm.
crap, my nose was pregnant. Everything, I could
Oh,
see my nose.
oh,
It was horrible. Um, but
jeez.
I was in the living room with my mom when the EMTs came in, and you could just tell by their expression that they were about to deliver the
Bad
bad
news.
news.
Right.
And my mom just clung on to me, and her scream was so loud, like I can still hear
Oh.
it. It was so loud, and I mean, and so this was kinda the first, not the first experience I had, but I always chalked them off to other things.
Hmm. So what
Um,
happened?
So that night, my aunts came in, and it was a smaller uh, home.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Roby died in that bathroom, and my aunts came in. So the rooms were taken, and I just wanted to be by my mom. I don't know,
Sure.
protective or whatever it is, concerned about her. And me and Randy slept on the floor, actually, and my brother, who's JJ's dad, his biological father, he
Mm-hmm.
slept on the couch. He was like 13, you know, and so I woke up and I was like, "Oh my god, let's go." But this is why I said that. I said, "Oh my god, let's go," because I either dreamt it or saw it. I don't know what this was. And I remember Roby and some lady appearing to me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember him saying, "Take care of your mom. I'm here with my mom." And I was just like, "Oh my god, let's go." Because it tripped me out so
I'm going to stop
much.
you right there. So you would know if it was a dream, Kresha. You would know.
I think so, but I mean, it's just hard to I
But
can't
what he said to you when he
mhm,
said, "Take care of your mom. I'm here with my mom," and he was there with a
mhm.
lady, that freaked.
Well, and it turned out whenever we went to his funeral, because that was the day he died, his funeral was days after. Um, there were some photo collages next to the casket, right? And there was his mom. I had never met her, but she had the old lady hair,
Behind.
and I didn't see her face in whenever he appeared to me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see her actual face. I wouldn't have recognized her anyways, but she was short compared to him. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Oh my god, that's his mom, and that's who he was with when he, told me to take care of my mom." And I was just like, "Oh my god."
Okay, so I mean,
So,
that is such a
mm,
classic woo woo because
crazy.
loved ones, from what I've been told, they come and visit.
Yeah.
And uh, I, I, I can tell that you're hesitant to even tell this story, I think, because you think people are going to think you're crazy, and
Uh,
not at all. Not
it
at all,
kinda
Kresha.
it feels like it's so woo-woo
It is woo
that
woo.
and I
That's a
mean,
classic woo woo.
throughout every experience, I would consult with my fiancé and just be like, "Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god," and he would console me and say, "No, it's fine,"
Now,
and
when you say throughout every experience, that means there's more. Can you tell
oh
us more?
god, there's
Please,
so many more.
please
There's so
tell
many
us.
more. So, I wanted to start with that one because
That's good.
me and my husband and my son, once my baby was born, we did move into my mom's old house. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She had met Larry by this time and we moved in. And I remember having to go make peace in the bathroom. I know that sounds horrible, right? I had to go
No.
make peace in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
But to live there, and I mean, whatever what it's worth, I did it because I felt compelled to do it. And I just was like, "Hey, you're welcome to watch over my family. Just please don't ever appear to me because I will be on the other side of the veil with you. You'll
Right.
kill me
It'll kill you.
because
You'll be
it
so freaked
freaked
out.
me out." Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know if that's just one of those questions I have. It's like because ever since then I've never had one physically appear to me. It's all
Mm-hmm.
in my head, and it's kind of like, each appearance or whatever is like I compare it to when you're dreaming and you're in water and you're going to punch somebody or something, and it just never quite
You won't
makes
do it.
impact.
Right.
It's very, like, sluggish, I
Sure.
don't know, cartoonish in a way, anyway, so
So
again, it
you told him, please do not come to me again because it'll scare
yeah,
me so much it will kill me. So
so yeah,
he did anything happen to
no.
make you think he came to you again?
Now he did, he was an electrician in life,
Mm-hmm.
so my ex-husband, my now ex-husband, he called me while I was at work, And he was like, Kresha, he was like, I was using the bathroom and he said the lights went off. I said, well, did you turn it on? Go turn it on, silly.
Right.
He was like, no, the switch was off. And I was like, oh, he's messing with you,
Yeah.
just joking around about it and whatever. But so little things like this would happen. And then eventually we divorced and then my second ex-husband moved in and we actually bought the house
Mm-hmm.
and our house burned down. Like 7 months after Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Rita. Rita hit our house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it burned down. And the only things that were saved in this fire, it was I mean, my whole house burned down. It made the front
So
page of the
sorry.
paper.
Oh God.
Um, but everything that meant something, like we had just had my daughter christened, okay,
Mm-hmm.
like 2 weeks before that, and she was like 7 months old, and we had it christened, but the baptismal candle still intact, still and didn't
Really?
melt. Everything was melted, and ceiling fans were, TVs were lumped over. I mean, it
Oh my
was
gosh.
crazy. And next to the TV were all my photo albums, untouched. Now they have the smoke and the fire, soot and
But
stuff
you
like
think
that.
they
But
would have melted at
right,
the very
it's just woo
least?
woo. Okay, it's woo woo because
Very
it's like
woo.
what? Her christening gown, it didn't burn. It
Mm-hmm.
just had that stink or whatever.
But doesn't that make you
Um,
feel good
it's
though?
yeah,
I mean,
it's
I,
protection in a way. It's
right, right.
it's really weird though.
So
And
what else has happened?
so
And by the
since
way,
then,
but let me just tell you, everybody in chat, myself included, saying, well, you're doing a great job. You're doing great. So please
it makes me real parched every time I go live or something. I always
don't
dry mouth.
stress. You're doing great, and you're telling us the facts, and it's just fascinating.
It's
So
Yeah.
weird.
okay,
It's definitely out there for debate, you know.
it's woo woo. What can we
And so,
say?
yeah, so then when Chad and Lori showed up, I'm like, okay, so they're talking about experiences they're having with the dead. Here I am having experiences with the dead.
Oh,
What makes me different than their experiences with their dead? It's a real
oh
weird
yeah.
area.
And I know what you're
You
Well,
saying.
see?
And
you
but
see,
Yeah.
here's the thing: you're not evil, okay? And you're not
Right.
taking your experiences and telling
Asking
people,
a pendulum or something.
and
yeah,
a crazy person doesn't question their sanity. You're questioning whether
There you
you're
go.
sane or not, so you're
right,
totally normal. You're not nuts.
exactly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
It's I don't, and I'm sure other people do the same thing.
Yeah.
I
But
mean, I'm not alone in this for sure.
no, you're
For
not.
sure.
So
No.
have you had other things happen?
Yes.
Let's,
Yes.
if you
The
don't
first
mind.
thing, when I found out Uncle Charles was murdered, it was July 12th, the day after he was murdered. Okay.
Okay.
Um, I talked about how um, the day I found out, my mom and my daughter, Ashlyn, and my mom, her
Hmm.
granddaughter, right? They left to go get their nails done. And me and Jason and our other bonus, my bonus children were there at the shop. Okay. And I say the shop because a lot of this stuff happened at the shop. And so to understand that, I'm going to kind of explain how the shop layout is.
Okay.
My parents owned a company that they would transport offshore crewmen, for like big oil companies and stuff,
Right.
bring them to the dock to catch the boat to go onto their barges and things like that.
Okay.
And so they did this for many years. And that's another reason why they felt that Charles and Lori were a better fit because my mom and dad were married to their company. But that was a
Mhm.
whole nother sibling, in my opinion. I was just like, damn,
Yeah.
it, totally takes them and removes them from showing up for things or they did their best though. I give them that,
They
they
did, but
really
and I
nurtured
think
it.
everybody understands why they
Mhm.
said JJ would be better off with Charles and Lori. That would be
Just
the
being
logic.
older.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
the
mean,
logical
being older.
explanation. Right.
Yeah. I think so too. I don't fault them for that.
Oh, not at all. Never.
No, I mean, I was angry about it. That don't get me wrong. I was angry about it and I voiced it but I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking about the better lifestyle for JJ. I was just like, "Oh, we can do it. We got this," you
Because
know? I
you wanted
wasn't
him. Yeah.
Yeah,
right. I
that's
was just like,
normal.
"There's no need to go to adoption," you know?
Yeah,
We can handle this. We can handle this, you know?
Right.
yeah.
And so I spent quite a while just being angry about that. And then I realized, that it's not being selfish. Instead of being selfish, I needed to be selfless and think about the betterment for my nephew.
Right.
And but then nobody foresaw this.
No
Nobody.
Nobody.
way. Nobody
Nobody.
could have seen this coming.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Uh-uh.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Not at
I
all.
didn't. Now I did date a guy who we had a Valo Christmas, and there was a bonfire.
Hmm.
It was at nighttime. It was at my mom and Larry's house, and Charles and the kids came in, and Lori, and JJ was a baby. I mean, I have
Hmm.
a picture of him where I'm kissing him on his cheek. I'm holding him and I'm
Aw.
kissing him on his cheek. And my boyfriend at the time, he was like, "That bitch is crazy." And I was like, "What?"
Oh,
He was talking
Really?
about Lori, and I was just like,
oh, he
my
was? Oh
boyfriend at
my
the time was crazy, is what I'm thinking. I'm like, yeah, well, it takes one to know one. And I mean, I've thought
wow.
about over the years, and I'm just like, I wonder what he saw or didn't see. You know what I
Right.
mean? I wonder
Right.
what made him go
Yeah.
to that conclusion. And just one of
Wow.
those things.
So anyway,
Weird.
your mom and Larry were married to the business, basically.
Basically. So,
Hmm.
yeah, that day we found out, this is how I found out. My mom and Ashlyn left to go get their nails done, and then immediately returned. And my mom returned. There were rocks flying. She returned very aggressively, I'll just say. I was just like,
Hmm.
oh my God. And so I stood up and I just kind of froze because I was like, oh, incoming, incoming, incoming. Like I didn't know what was going on, but
You
just
didn't know
reading the
why she was
situation,
screeching
I was
in
like,
so
"Something's
aggressively.
wrong,"
Hmm.
but I didn't know what. So, I see both doors fly open, my mom gets out the driver's side door, she's on the phone, and it turns out it was my cousin Cole, which was, it's Uncle Charles's oldest son,
Okay.
okay? And then Ashlyn, my little girl, okay, she ran up to me, and, I mean, she hugged me, and so I hug her back, and I'm just still like, "What?" And she said, "They killed Uncle Charles," and I was like, "Oh my god," and I flew into a rage. A
Hmm.
rage, and I've never been like this, like, I'm not an angry person,
Right.
but it angered me, and it shook my soul, and I
Oh,
think that's where this opened up for the extra woo-woo that was about to follow.
okay. Understood.
Okay? So, that's why I wonder how Chad Daybell says about his near-death experiences, but really, it was just him jumping off of a cliff, and it was adrenaline, and it was a rush of it. I think that can kind of be comparative or
Mm.
whatever. I don't really know the science behind that,
Hmm.
but it just to me, I seem to think that that's what he's talking about. It's
Right.
just not that you actually died, because I'm like, let me see papers. I want to see papers where you were clinically dead.
Right.
So I don't think that his stories qualify as a near death experience, but whatever. Hey, it was a traumatic experience, perhaps,
Sure.
but
So you get this horrible information that your
mhm.
Uncle Charles has been killed, and what happens?
The very next day, so it was July 13th, the next day, and I remember telling mom, I said, "Y'all go to Arizona now." I mean, I
Hmm.
couldn't stress it enough. I was just like, "Go before she burns him," and I meant cremates him.
Right.
That's what I
Right.
meant. And too late because Chad Daybell's, on the phone acting like DeBall and,
Ugh,
uh, whatever, like
Yeah.
that's his
so
uncle, and
awful.
I'm like, "That's my uncle,"
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just so offended by these people and what they did and to the depths that they went to.
Right.
And so that I was in my parents' shop, and me and Jason used to take care of the vehicles, the fleet, okay?
Hmm.
They had buses, charter buses, they had smaller, mini buses, they had, uh, Crown Victorias, just things to shuttle, uh, and accommodate their business.
Hmm.
So we would clean them. And I mean, I get a lot out of physical work, because it exhausts me, whereas my
Right.
mind's always going. So, but that day, it was towards the afternoon, and I was like, Jason left with our kids, and I just needed that alone time to kind
Mm,
of reflect, kind of just be in my own and just kind of feel the things and think the things because I was
right.
so shattered from the news the day before.
Sure.
And that it was this was the craziest thing ever
What
because I
happened?
didn't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle, I say he appeared to me, but he didn't appear to me. He was just there. I knew he was there. It was under just a knowing. I just knew that he was there and he came to me and
Mm-hmm.
he kept saying over and over again. He kept saying, there's two sides to the story. I just want you to hear my side of the story. There's two sides of the story. There's just want you to hear my side of the story over and over. And I was just like, oh my God. Okay, and I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to at that time, I definitely did not want to turn my back on my uncle. I didn't know any of the things. I
You didn't
didn't
know
my
the
father
story
didn't tell
behind
me. I
the
didn't
whole.
know
Okay.
any of the things.
Okay.
I just thought about that. Anyways, it gives me chills.
Yeah.
But, and so in that, I mean, I felt like I had to decide, like, "Oh my god, I don't wanna turn away from him." I'm just kinda having this conversation with myself. You're like,
Right.
"Okay, what do I do? What do I do?" I was always told and taught not to entertain these kind of things because
Mm-hmm.
woo woo, okay? You can
Right.
invite dark junk in, as
Exactly. Yes. A lot of people.
Melanie Gibbs says.
So what did you
So,
do?
I acknowledged him, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Uncle Charles," I was like I couldn't breathe. It was either just so overwhelming,
Mhm.
and I also suffer from I was diagnosed with severe anxiety disorder, from the time I was 15. So, I mean, I've already got that.
Like
Right.
me. Yeah.
It sucks. It really does suck.
Yep.
And so I just was kind of like, "Uncle Charles, you're gonna have to back off just a little bit because it's just so intense that I can't even breathe."
Mhm.
But then I got to, researching more into and I'm like, "Oh my god, he was shot in the chest, and that's could have been why I couldn't breathe."
You couldn't
You
breathe.
know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It was, like, traumatic all the way around, even for him, especially for him. And
But no,
then
that
for
makes
me
perfect sense. Makes perfect
yeah.
sense, Trisha. It does.
So I remember, him just wanting to tell me the story, and I didn't
Mhm.
know how. I'm just like, "Okay." I didn't know all the things there are that I found out later,
Mhm.
in ways of research and stuff like that. So, I basically there was this and I don't even know, this does sound crazy, but I mean, it's something that I thought to use or do in that time
Mhm.
without knowing any of the things. So, I went and sat outside in my vehicle and I just questioned him, and there was this light that would go on and off, on the outside of the building, a security light, and I would just say, "Make it go off if it's a no, or make it say if it's a yeah." I don't even remember what
Well,
questions I asked.
and it was going off and on.
Yeah, I mean, but it
Really?
it is gonna go off and on because it's a damn spotlight that it goes off and on,
Okay.
so, but anyways, again, I don't know what line of questions I even asked. I do remember asking, like, "Is she having an affair? Is it Lori and Alex?" Just kinda
Mhm.
asking those kinda things, so and I didn't even realize, but also July 13th was a very busy day for me, I guess, because I pulled background checks on everybody in Lori's family, almost everybody, that day, and I'm just like, "Holy crap," I didn't even
And this
realize
was
that until
before
about a year.
this was before you knew Charles was shot?
Mhm.
Why did you pull background checks, do you think?
I don't know, because I didn't know, and, I mean, that just comes
That's
along with the whole
crazy.
research of everything,
Right.
yeah, that
Okay.
it's weird.
So you're sitting in the truck and
Mhm.
you're talking to your Uncle Charles who had been
Yeah,
murdered earlier that day, and you're
right.
and he had come to you in your mind and said there's two sides to every story, and you
And I
didn't
wanna tell
know
you
about
mine.
the whole
Mm-mm.
thing with Chad and Lori and Charles trying to get Lori help, and
Mm.
you didn't know any of that. So
Nope.
that came to you. You're in your truck. You're asking him questions. Is it Lori? Is it Alex?
Is she
And
having
this,
an affair? Yeah.
and the
Just
security light is going off and on, kind of giving you a direction on what questions to ask. So when you asked, "Is she having an affair?"
and it
What
would
did he say?
confirm or
Right.
I mean, it said, yeah, I remember that, but I don't remember enough to it to even to speak on it. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the first initial whoa
Mm-hmm.
experience in this. So it was the day after we found out. So 2 days after he was shot.
Okay.
Excuse me. Lori.
Uh-oh. Chad Daybell came in, grabbed her. Kresha, are you okay?
Yeah,
Kresha.
just hold on,
Oh,
hold on.
you swallowed wrong? Okay, take your time. Take your time. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Kresha Easton uh, of Difficult Research. JJ Vallow is her nephew, and
That was
Charles
nuts.
Charles Vallow is her uncle,
Oh,
and Kay Woodcock is her mother, and Larry is her stepfather. Okay, so this was a couple of days. Are you
Sorry about
okay?
that.
oh my
Yeah.
Are you
God.
okay?
I was like,
I know it's a terrible feeling. Okay, a
it
couple of days after Charles has been murdered, and then what happened?
is. So I remember I remember seeing like the Long Island Medium, and I just didn't know all the things again. This has opened
Mm-hmm.
up so many areas for research for me just to learn about my own world, like just
Right,
all
sure.
the things. And so I remember Googling her and like, what do you do? How do you handle your loved one coming to you? And what do you ask? What's dark? What's not dark? What are the things? And
Mhm.
so I remember doing that. I also remember, um, now this was really prevalent. This was before, this happened like between December 20th of 2019
Mhm.
and Christmas Eve, so December
Okay.
24th. Okay. Every Christmas, we always spend Christmas Eve with my parents.
Mhm.
It's just how we have always done it. And so now, whenever the news hit the media, okay, when the police, made what is it called, a press conference
Mhm.
and asked the media or asked the public for help, okay, locating Tylee and JJ, I had I had an experience. It was not a dream, so I know that much. Okay, I was not sleeping,
Right.
and so I remember Uncle Charles showing me, and I'm gonna grab a picture that looks similar to this. I found it. It's in the frame. It came with the frame.
Okay.
Actually, I don't even know if I have it. Uh, yeah. Anyways, I don't even know where it's at right now. But
Okay.
it was Uncle Charles showed me a picture, and I say a picture. It wasn't a picture, but it was him and JJ hand in hand. JJ was, 7 years old. He was at the age he was whenever he disappeared.
Mhm.
And just so JJ was standing to the right of Uncle Charles, but both their backs were to me. So Uncle Charles is here, JJ is here, and Uncle Charles is looking, they're holding hands, okay? And Uncle Charles is looking down at JJ, just you can see the side of Uncle Charles's face.
Mhm.
And he's just admiring the child, just that
Oh,
love. You can just feel
right.
that love, see that love. And JJ's just looking head on, he's straightforward.
Mhm.
But they're walking away from me. Yeah. And it's like at a beach, and it's like they're going into the water. I don't know. Again,
Can
it's
I
weird.
ask you something here?
Mhm,
Was this before? Because they
mhm,
authorities say JJ they believe was murdered. Toward the end of September. Was this
mhm,
after JJ he went missing in September? Was this after he went
mhm,
missing? Okay,
mhm.
so he was dead then, but you didn't know it. You didn't
Mm,
know it. Okay, so you
no,
see your Uncle Charles, he's looking at JJ lovingly, and they're going into water.
they're walking away. And I was like, oh my God, to
Mm-hmm.
me, because I still, even after this, I kept hope. It's weird how that happens. I don't know
Well,
how
everybody
one can,
thought the kids
because
were alive.
it wasn't confirmed,
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
there
was
weren't.
some
Mhm,
nut. in, living in a bunker. That's what everybody was hoping.
Yeah. I
Right.
was too, but I mean, just my gut was like, it just doesn't sound right. It doesn't seem right.
Mhm.
You don't want to give up on hope. Um,
Right.
and so I really did not want to tell my parents this, but I felt like I had to, like, because it would just replay and replay until I delivered the message. I don't really know what that is, but that's what it seems to be. That's how
You
it
felt
seems to
like
happen for me.
you felt
It,
like
it
this was happening over and over.
yeah,
It was
so it's like,
and
hey,
compelling you to tell your
yeah,
mom.
right.
Okay.
And so I'm just like, I'd kind of told them a couple, a day or so before. I was like, I had a dream. I just say I had a dream.
Mhm.
It's more believable that
It's
way.
easier to say, yeah.
People tend to wrap their minds around that a lot easier than just saying, I had a vision,
Right.
because I mean,
Sure.
I'm not a visionary, so to speak. I don't, but these things did happen,
So
whatever.
you tell your mom, and what did she say?
Yeah, but so we went to their house for Christmas Eve, and
Mhm.
there's JJ's shark pajamas hanging,
Oh God. Oh my
and and so that's what they do every year for the grandkids. They buy them robes and night
God.
clothes
Mhm.
and slippers and just all those sorts of things. And so I mean, the kids were missing, but it was brand new in the media and on Websleuths and all
Right.
the Facebook groups that opened because of that. So it's just before all the information came in, but I felt compelled to tell my parents this because it it was weighing on me. It
Mhm.
wouldn't leave my brain until I got it from
Right.
my lips to their ears, you know? And so, but it's something you don't want to say. You don't want to say,
He's dead.
"Hey."
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I don't even think I thought that. I really don't know what it meant. I just needed to
Mhm.
tell it. So, the kids already opened their presents. There's JJ's shark pajamas. They're hanging and waiting for him to open, or to see
Mhm.
for Christmas. And so my mom was right here and Larry was in his chair. And I had found that video, the bus video of JJ and Larry um in my phone that I had
Mhm.
forgotten about that I had taken in March of 2019. So here we are, Christmas 2019. Okay.
Mhm.
Uncle Charles was murdered in July of 2019. Tylee and JJ obviously were murdered too in September of 2019. So here we are, don't know it yet, but so I find that video and I sent it to Larry, and he was just kind of sitting back, and he has a big ass iPad. Okay, it looks like a damn
Mhm.
TV screen. I'm like, good lord, to type on it, I have to be like,
Yeah.
okay, and he's just like, "Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo." Okay, so I just see him in his chair, and he's just watching this video, and he even stops me and he says, "Look, look." And he shows us how JJ is jumping in the reflection of the window in the bus.
Okay.
He's not in the frame, but you can see JJ just jumping up and down. And he's just so excited when Larry
What
takes the
happened?
microphone and says, "Turn off the lights, party's over."
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
it's
we
just
did that.
so much more significance to that. I didn't realize that, but he noticed that. And I was just like, wow. So that's going on right in this time. And
Okay.
then I had bought a, Dremel kit for my mom because she would go get pedicures, manicures, and things like that, and I'm like, "Ugh, Dremel,
Mhm.
and you just do it yourself. Here you go."
Right.
And so I was tending to my mom's feet, okay?
Mhm. And you started to tell her about this?
And so I was like, Can I tell y'all what I dreamt about?"
Mhm.
And finally they were, the devices went down and my mom sat back and she was just like, "Okay." And so, I mean, it was just that. It was just that they appeared to me, Charles and JJ, hand in hand. Uncle Charles was looking to his right at JJ, and they were walking away from me. And so mom said, she asked, was there peace? Did they, what kind of sense did you get from that? And I was just like, I
Mhm.
had to think about it in that moment. I was like, peace. They found each other,
Right.
and that they were walking away on it, they're hand in hand. And so mom replied something, she said, I'm just glad if they did find each other, I'm glad that he found his daddy,
So
so right?
let me ask you, do you think that your mom and Larry at that time, and this is New Year's Eve 2019 in that
Christmas.
area, Christmas 2019, do you think they had maybe come to terms that it was likely that JJ was dead or no?
They never said that. They never
Okay.
said that. We never thought that for
Mhm.
real. I mean, again, it's like,
Okay.
okay, this happened. This was shown to me. I'm telling you all this, but it wasn't
Mhm.
accepted. If and I mean, I don't know if it goes into the whole, this is your family, or
Mhm.
you're directly attached to these people, related to these people, and they're missing, and you love them, and you don't know where they're at. It goes all into that whole aspect. And again, this whole year after my Uncle Charles was murdered was like a blur. It is a blur in my brain.
Sure.
So there's a lot of things that lap over each other, and I don't know when something happened, it went
Understood.
crazy.
So
So
your mom said, "I'm glad they found each other," and then what else did she say?
that was it. I mean, that's all I
Mhm.
remember. And then we stayed there till like 2 o'clock in the morning. We were like, "Oh crap, gotta get home. We gotta do Santa."
Right. Did you talk
So,
about JJ and what was
hmm,
going on? Do you remember if you were talking about JJ or
whenever we had to get home
yeah, I
to
mean, when you were there that for that long, were you
it
there
was
that
yeah, we were there that long. It took a long time, for them to be ready to hear it,
got it, got it.
so it was just an awkward moment. I wanted to just gloss over it basically and just like, "Here, get it off my chest,
But you had to
deliver the
tell
message,"
them
so to speak.
because you felt that Charles was saying, I'm gonna keep coming here, woman, until you say
Yeah,
something. But
yeah.
I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
is such a loving, incredible message. That I mean, I'm not involved in this in any way, and that makes me feel so much better
It
because I
does.
do feel like whatever we are after we
Mhm.
pass, and I don't know what it is, they found each other. He was
Right.
there.
But, I
Charles was
mean, Tylee, I've never had Tylee come to me. And I mean, I've even left that open, like,
there.
"You're welcome to come to me," but again, I wasn't very close, so for whatever that
Right.
means, I don't know what that means, so,
We have a question in
um
chat, and I just want to
okay.
explain. On Saturday nights, we do about every other Saturday. We do what's called Woo Woo Saturday Night, and that's where people tell their ghost stories, premonitions, you know, crazy things. We've had crazy woo woo things happen during
Yeah.
this, and I'm
Right?
not a big believer in ghosts or anything, but I love these stories. And we invited
Mm.
Kresha on because Kresha said she had these woo woos, and we woo woo is just another way of saying ghost story
Phenomenon.
premonition. Yeah, just something weird that happened that you can't explain.
Yep.
Mhm.
So I find what you have told us so far, Kresha, as incredibly loving and
Mm.
very comforting. And the fact
Yeah.
that Charles came to you and said, there are two sides to every story before you even knew
I didn't
all
know.
the drama that was going on, to me is
I
very compelling.
I
Very
didn't know
compelling.
all these things. It's nuts. I agree with anybody who is just like,
It's
"What?"
not.
Because it
So
is. It's nuts, and I've
it's
never told them out like this before,
well,
so
and
just
I
know
gotta
that.
tell you, I am so honored that
It
you
helps.
agreed to tell us, and we are so grateful that you did. Thank you. I mean, and we're
Yep,
not
me
done talking.
too.
We're not done talking, so don't think you can get
That's
away
right.
just
Don't go anywhere.
Yes.
okay. So you tell Larry and Kay that Charles
Mhm,
came to you. He was looking lovingly at JJ, and were walking toward the ocean.
mhm.
Okay. Then did
Yeah,
you stop having Charles come to you after that? What
no.
happened? What
My
happened?
uncle and Imma say it like this, he stayed with me for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole adjustment of, "Okay, well, this is happening now, so okay." It's like a tally, and you're marking
Right.
all the times that all the things are happening. I would
Sure.
find there was this thing that I forgot about this. There was okay, back in 2016, my
Mm-hmm.
brother went to live with my mom and Larry, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so him and I were sitting on the back patio at night, and my brother is one who he expresses his feelings through music, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, although it would be like rap or screwed music,
Mm-hmm.
he would there was a song that he had found, and he it was it's by Slim Thug, okay, for
Mm-hmm.
whomever, look it up. Slim Thug, and the name of the song is Chuch, Chuuch.
Okay.
Okay, I wouldn't know about it, but because of him, my brother Todd, I know about it, and it all plays into this. Okay, so you got to go
Mm-hmm.
far back as 2016 for me, and so my brother is saying how just this song. He's relating to this song through this song,
Mm-hmm.
and it's church, which is church. Okay, think about that.
Okay.
And it's about Joel Olstein. There's little clips of Joel Olstein. Okay, who I'm just like, yeah, no, okay, I understand what Joel Olstein's all about these days, but
Okay.
I didn't know that then. But I mean, it's just what is being said in this song with
Okay.
Slim Thug singing it, and then they would play clips of Joel Olstein saying that birds of a feather flock together. Basically, you can't hang out with chickens and expect to fly with eagles.
Right.
Okay, so
Good
that
point.
all is just like going into it,
Mm-hmm.
and so through that song, and then down the line, it just, I when I found out that my uncle was murdered, I was just like, oh my God, you can't. He was playing with chickens, and he can't soar, like an eagle when you're playing with chickens, and so birds of a feather flock together. These like-minded beliefs, these like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this all just kind of encapsulates and all that. And I would find feathers everywhere. Feathers every in my bed. I mean, long feathers. I'm just like, I pull my blanket back and I'd be like, "Oh my god."
Well,
I
they
would
do
take
say, and
pictures of it.
whoever they happens to be, that birds and feathers are a sign of the afterlife. I have heard that.
That's nuts.
Absolutely. And so
So
you
I
have this
started looking
song.
up meaning and stuff. I started
Yeah.
looking up, the different colors, what they symbolize, and
Mm-hmm.
for again, I'm grieving at this time. I'm all this is happening, and it's
Right.
so fast, it's so much, it's so huge that there's no way to grasp all this,
Mm-hmm.
but that all these things were happening. My kids were finding feathers. They still to this day will come to me and be like, "Oh, Mama Kay found a feather," and I'm just like,
Wow.
"Oh," and
Did it give you
so
comfort when you would find a feather?
it would, and it was just like, "Okay, okay, okay," it's one of those things. It's like, do they communicate with you again after
Okay.
death? And it's of course leaves more questions than answers, but it is very healing. It is very a good feeling,
So
I
after,
mean, sometimes I would even gauge these things. I'm just like, well, I guess I'm on the right path. I really don't know. I
so
don't know.
you're receiving these feathers, and this is
Mhm.
before they find JJ and Tylee. In between
Oh,
that time and the time they find JJ and Tylee, did you have any more woo woos with your Uncle Charles? And
yeah.
what were they, if you don't mind?
Okay. So I'd say March would be about the next one that really stands out.
2020. Okay.
Wait, no, hold on, I gotta think. Um, yeah. Okay. So so I was in my shop. I had to think. I was in
That's
my
okay.
shop,
Take your time.
and I would go outside a lot more in the evening, nighttime, because my kids would be asleep. I could
Hmm.
go and reflect. I didn't realize that about myself, but once I met Jason in 2018 and on, that's the first time I've ever been with somebody where I was relaxed enough to actually just, trust fall basically, and
Right.
I could actually do a lot more insight and reflection in my own brain and just try to figure these things out, like, why is Lori
Hmm.
doing what she's doing? I would go to the dollar store around the corner and grab some of the boxes they threw out, and I would tear those boxes down, and I had a burn barrel, and I would throw the boxes in there. I'd light it, and I would just stand there and just be like, "Oh, she's gonna be hot." You know, like, why she's doing all these things, and so
Hmm.
that's just it was my time with my own thoughts to just kind of understand
Sure.
what's going on, what their motives are, why are they doing what they're doing. And there
Right.
would be like sometimes a slow moving car, and I would duck. I would actually duck because Alex wasn't dead yet. And I
Right.
mean, for what it's worth, my mom was walking from each room in their home, with her pistol because, okay, Alex is out there. And
Okay.
so
Because
you're
this
like,
was
"Well, what is this cult? Who is this cult?"
This was
Who?
before. Okay, so we're going back in time.
Oh
So
yeah,
this,
my bad.
yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So this
Again,
is
told you.
before Alex died, which was December, I think, 12th,
Mhm.
2019. But it was after
Mhm.
Tammy. Was it after Tammy died? And
After
the kids
everybody
were
died,
missing. And after Charles died.
but we didn't
And
know yet.
yeah, and you didn't know about the kids. So,
Right.
okay, I understand what you're doing. And again,
Brandon was caught up.
you're
Yeah.
getting just loving comments in chat. Everybody is so grateful that you are willing to share this with us because it's very personal, Kresha.
It
And
is
like I said,
very
I'm
personal.
honored that
It
you are
is.
coming on and talking about it.
Thank you.
So,
I'm glad that you're letting me. It's helping me put it into
absolutely.
a timeline because, again, that whole year after my uncle was murdered was is it's a blur.
Mm.
Still, I can't pinpoint things. So that's yeah, a lot of jumping around.
Yeah, that's okay. No,
But
you're fine. So
I do
let's talk
remember
about
doing that.
let's talk about the time after Alex is gone, and I'm sure
Mm.
that was a shock.
Yeah,
And
oh god.
before they found the kids, you were finding feathers. It's very comforting. What else happened between that time?
So there was okay. So I was in my shop. I'm gonna go back to that. So it was like
Okay,
March of 2020 now.
okay.
Okay, March 2020. I'm in my shop, and I'm bent over and I'm looking into a box. Okay, and all out of nowhere, y'all. This one is the most alarming one. Okay,
Okay.
so and it's the dead of night, and I was just reflecting, just whatever, passing by my time, and I hear JJ, and he's saying, Aunt Kresha, and I stood straight up, and I was just, it was so real. Okay. It
Mhm.
felt so real. And I remember as if he ran up to my side. And so I just kind of held on to him. But he was saying, Aunt Kresha, mommy hurt me. And he was
Oh
whimpering, he
my
was
God.
crying, whimpering. And I started crying. And I mean, this is outside in my shop. Oh my God,
And
I
this
wish I
is
had a camera out there.
March of 2020. Oh my
Mhm.
God.
And so I was just like, it's okay, Bubba. I was like, it's okay. Mommies aren't supposed to hurt. They're not supposed to hurt their
No.
children. And we love you. And Mama and Papa love you. And Ashlyn, I just went down the whole, I don't know. It was just reaction.
Right.
And I mean, I was bawling because it was so real. It was so real. And
Well, it
that was
probably
JJ. That's
was.
my nephew. That's my nephew, my baby
It probably
nephew.
was real. My God.
And I mean, it's a lot to take in. Also, at this time, started being I started sitting in with a psychic, and I mean, again, I did it for like 4 or 5 readings, and I didn't quite understand what that meant, but I guess
Mhm.
they just kinda channel through you. The closer the connection, the stronger the readings, I guess.
Right. Right.
And there was one, when JJ showed up in one of the psychic's visions, and she said that Charles was passing JJ off to me, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Okay," and it was so real. Again, it was so real,
Wow.
and I'm just sitting there on the phone with her, and she's like, "Charles is just this is the first time JJ really showed up, and he's handing him off to you, and then they're going to do he's Charles is going to show her the
Mm-hmm.
different things, okay?" And so I laid there on a chase lounge with that baby, I swear. It was
Mm-hmm.
so real, and it's like I liken it to whenever you have a brand new baby and you're just laying there, but
Right.
you won't move or budge because it'll wake the baby up or
Maybe
whatever.
I'm
You don't wanna
sure.
disturb that, and I just laid there with him in my arms, and I even we lost connection on the phone. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't budge. I didn't move. I didn't call her back. I was like, "She'll call back whenever." And I
Yeah.
just laid there and I held him.
Oh
But
my God.
again, it's unexplainable. Um, but it
Oh,
was just one of those freak
that must have been
acts.
so comforting though.
Well, but I mean, again, they still were not found on Chad Daybell's property. None of this. So all these things are happening, and yet we're still keeping hope that the kids are alive. And I say we, my mom and them didn't know about all these things that were happening
Hmm.
with me
Right.
because I mean, after Uncle Charles's murder, it was like impossible to pin them down. I mean, they're just always going and doing
Just
and
yeah,
being, and I mean, it's just like,
sure.
whew. Lori and Chad took that away from me. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, they
They
took your mom and Larry away from you when you
right.
needed them the most. Have you
Mhm.
have you told them since then these things that you're telling us now?
Not all of the things, no.
Mm, okay.
Again, because it's so it's just so woo woo. It's so woo
That's
woo. It's
why,
just like,
and that's what we're here for, Kresha. This is the
right,
woo-woo capital of the world.
what?
So
And it's much needed because these things really did happen. I
I believe you.
questioned myself the whole time. I was just like,
Yeah.
and I would go to Jason with this, and he would either be there at the
Mm-hmm.
same time. Now, there's one time that it did happen to both of us.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
What happened? What happened?
And I mean, again, I've had experiences throughout my life.
Mm-hmm.
I never entertained it. I never looked any further into it because I was raised in a Catholic type setting, okay,
Sure.
where
Me too.
it's like you don't believe in it, but yet my papa shows up to bless the house. And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
well, if you don't believe in it, then there's nothing, okay.
Right. Right.
It doesn't make sense. Make it add up to me. And it doesn't. So as going through this, I have felt negative spirits before. I have
Mm-hmm.
felt good. It's both. And me and Jason have felt at the same time even, and I'm just like, that's super weird.
Mm-hmm.
I came into where I do YouTube from. I'm not gonna call it my office because it's not. Whatever. I came into this room to sit and get on the camera and do some videos. And when I passed through the door and set my stuff down right here, I'm looking over there and I'm just like, something really negative, really, really negative and intimidating. And I was just like, but I'm gonna have to pass back through that way. And where I'm feeling and sensing the negativity at,
Mm-hmm.
just to go run to my bedroom. And I did. I ran. Okay.
Right.
I ran. I just threw the books down and I jetted to jump in the bed with Jason. And I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, oh my God. I was crying and I was just like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I don't care because I don't want to drag any of this negative shit, okay, from Chad and
Yeah.
Lori, from researching into all this. I don't want to bring this home
Yeah.
where I live with my family and I'm done. And he
Right.
was like, and I mean, I was just crying and I was just done.
Oh,
And he said, "Well, what is it that you're doing?" And I mean, he was just trying to get me to kind of rationalize what everything. And
sure.
I
Makes
said,
sense.
"I am exposing them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm exposing them." And he said, and so, okay. He just made me think through it. And I was like, he said that they're just here to intimidate you to make you stop.
Right.
And I
That's
was
true.
just like,
Yeah.
yeah. So again, it just has gone on and on. Now it's tapered off drastically
Right. So
since the kids were found.
when the
So
kids were found, and if you don't, Kresha, if you don't want to talk about this, you don't
no,
have to. You just tell me. But when the kids were found, did anything happen?
no,
Okay.
I don't really remember anything that
Mm-hmm.
stands out after that. Um, I mean, the kids were found. Then we had a hurricane, Laura. That I mean, just the eye of it was right through Lake Charles where we live.
Right.
Now the storm, walked over. I mean, I say walked over, but it wobbled over enough to where we weren't going to have the surge here. But again, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know that storm was coming, and I know I just said storm and
Yeah.
coming. I
Storm.
know.
Yikes. No, no. See,
And
Chad's ruined
Chad,
the word storm
damn
for
you.
everybody. Oh
Look,
my
Yeah.
I'm
God.
just gonna quote
Well.
Aunt Vicky Hoban. Okay, she said that's more like a drizzle. Okay,
Yeah, there you go. A drizzle. Just
it's
a
a damn
little teeny
drizzle.
drizzle.
Yeah, bloop,
So,
and it
oh.
landed on Lori's head. I'll just say that.
No, so gross.
Too far, too far.
Oh my
I
God,
love
that's
it.
so
Oh, we
nasty.
could go all night with this, people. We could
You
go all
could.
night. Oh God.
Oh my
I
God.
can't wait for your all night into the world party.
Oh well,
Oh
now
yeah.
you're invited. In fact, I'll be in touch with you. We want to have a specific hour set aside for you,
All
and I'd
right.
love your mom and Larry to join. They haven't joined.
I know, huh?
And I would love them to. They're all. I mean, they're
I like
welcome here 24/7. all year. But on our end of the
We
world
haven't
again,
had the opportunity,
right,
right?
right. And let me just
I
tell you
get it.
real quick. Let me tell you real quick for people who are new in chat. Back
Mhm.
in 2020, when the kids were found, Chad said that the end of the world was going to happen July 22nd, 2020. And I think that's why he was acting all
Can
cavalier
I
and
just
blah,
say though, that's my ex-husband's birthday.
blah, blah. It is,
I'm
oh,
just like, oh, I get it.
uh-oh, that is the end
I
of the
get
world. So
it.
I was broadcasting live from literally from a cabin, and my internet wasn't very strong. So I couldn't have guests on. I couldn't do what I'm doing now.
Mhm.
So I had to come up with something different. So I thought, okay, if we're all going to die, let's do a
Mhm.
24-hour broadcast. And I
We're
had
gonna damn
guests on.
see it.
Yeah. And I had guests on, but they were all just like over the phone. Anyway, of course, the end of the world didn't happen. So
Right.
we every year now we say, well, Chad just got the year wrong. It's the end of the world again, and we do a
Moving the
big
goal line,
move in the
like
goal
they
line
do.
constantly, and we do a 24-hour broadcast. But every year we have great guests. We have a lot of fun, and then we raise money for a charity. And so
Which is
this
good.
year, yes, Kresha, you're going to come on. Hopefully, your mom and Larry will come on.
Yeah.
We're lining up guests right now,
Megan, hopefully.
and yeah,
Yeah.
Megan. I mean, here's the
Good.
thing, Kresha, you and Megan, you can't escape it. We'll hunt you down. You will be on our end of the world again. And
Right.
I go to
Mhm.
sleep overnight, and Ping comes on, and Lisa from Australia, they come on and take
That's
over.
awesome.
And I have to put a little streamer at the bottom that says, don't call 911. The host is not dead, you know. So
Right. Yeah.
anyway,
I think
so
it's really cool. I think it's unique and cool, and it's raising money for a good cause. So
yeah, and we pick
I
a
can get
different
behind
charity.
that
Thank
anytime.
you. And again, I just did it because I had nothing else I could do. Nothing else I could do. So, oh yeah, and we do need to do again, we're gonna have our tinfoil hat contest where
Oh,
whoever has the
good.
best tinfoil hat.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we're gonna be getting all of that out there. But
Wow.
Kresha, as far as your experiences, uh, since then, since the kids have been found,
I
have
forgot.
oh go ahead. No, what'd you forget?
Yeah, because I was like, what did happen afterwards?
Mhm.
So we evacuated. I didn't know that there was a hurricane one day out, and my mom
Right.
called. She says, "Hey, are y'all evacuating?" And I was like, "From what?"
Oh
She
gosh,
was
yeah, you
like,
better know.
"There's a hurricane," and I'm like, "Oh shit," because I'm just so researching into this case and into the things around
Right.
and people around the case, right? So I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. And I mean, so
Mhm.
we had the whole pandemic, and then my fiance early throughout this year of 2020, there was well, my fiance had a thoracotomy the
Oh
same
no.
time that Lori was being extradited from Hawaii to Idaho. So my
Mhm.
parents weren't here. I mean, there was a time whenever I mean, I had my 4 kids, and Jason, he's such a big help, okay? He is
Oh.
the yin to my yang,
Mhm.
and so he was, having the lower right portion of his lung cut out, and then, all these things are happening. My doctor died in April of 2020. Jason had the
Oh
thoracotomy in
wow.
February, March area. Lori was
Mhm.
extradited from Hawaii. Then we
Right.
had the kids were found in June. Then August 29th, we had Hurricane Laura, followed by a tropical storm, followed by
Mhm.
Hurricane Delta. Same
Oh
course.
my gosh.
So we were just, and all of that was a distraction. And that's the best way I can even explain it. It
Right.
was a distraction. These hurricanes, these, natural disasters were just a
Mhm.
distraction, and it would cause me to live in the moment. Whenever there's so many times I have not lived in the moment because I'm just viewing and trying to understand how we got here, how
Right.
Lori and Chad got to where they got,
Sure.
and what all went into that. And so
Mhm.
all these things are happening, and I call it Trauma Tour 2020 because it
Oh my
was
god.
just
That's so perfect. Perfect.
it was just that,
Wow.
and all aboard. Woo woo.
So,
Yeah. Holy cow.
So now I did experience I was doing research into these paranormal kind of experiences, and I even appeared as a guest on Electronic Medium is the name of the
Mm-hmm.
channel. And I mean, her too, it's not like a we again, it's so much there's so much to understand why these things happen.
Right.
There's some readings that she had done, through the little the ghost box thing, and you're just like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Spirit.
I don't
Or,
hear
yeah.
shit.
Right.
But I mean, I heard my Uncle Charles's voice on hers. Some reading, I'm just like when he said, "Tell him I'm being set up," and I'm just like, "That's his voice. That's his voice." And so I don't know
Do
if it's just me because I was going through this traumatic experience as well. I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I just know
do you have it that on video by chance?
she does. Yeah,
You know what?
and
If you could, would you mind sending that to us?
I don't mind at all.
That would be
I don't.
great.
I don't mind because I mean, I'm open for research of all types, really. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know why we're here. I don't know if there's a God, a sky daddy. I don't
I
know. I
know.
just know that I
There you.
connect to source. Hey,
Yeah.
I just know that I connect to source, and whatever source is whatever.
Right.
So I can't explain it, but I can just try to understand as much as I
Right.
can.
No, I understand. I feel
So
the same way.
yeah.
It's like just going to try and do good while I'm here. I don't know
Yeah.
what is out there, but I'm open. I am
Yeah.
absolutely open.
I think that's really I've noticed that about you. So, it's nobody just passing judgment on what I should or should not be
Exactly.
doing, or it's open for interpretation, and I think it's really important.
Absolutely. And it's
Yep.
whatever makes you feel good and what you believe, that's the right thing.
Yep.
But
You
then
know?
there's Lori at her damn allocution saying her kids visit her and that her friend Tammy, and I'm just like, okay,
Okay, but
whatever.
here's the thing. We know
You're
that's crazy because she killed them. Okay. The
Mhm.
people that you are experiencing, you didn't kill them. You
I
love
didn't kill
them.
him.
Big
No.
difference.
Right.
Big difference.
And I also am like, how a narcissist really wants to control the narrative.
Oh
And
yeah.
I just really think that's Lori's way of still getting at all of us
Mm.
is by saying that
Absolutely.
she is exalted. They basically her kids and Tammy forgive her. And so why
Hmm.
shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Because she did them a favor basically.
Well,
And
they're
so it's just
visiting her
another
to
way
haunt
for
her.
them.
So,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And so it's like another way for a narcissist, I think, to control
Hmm.
the narrative,
Yep.
to
Yep.
exalt themselves, to be
Yep.
relevant. Right?
Exactly.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely right.
Yep.
Kresha, I think you've come so far since I
mhm.
first met you. You're doing so great on your channel. You're growing. You're letting
Oh yeah.
people see the real you, and they love you. Anybody that doesn't love you is nuts. So
And hey, I'm not for everybody. That's just normal. We're I mean,
That's
that's
all
come
of
on.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
That's
and
all of
your
us.
research is phenomenal. My God, woman, you are
Oh,
amazing. Um, do you ever
thanks, I guess.
do,
Thank you,
do
I
you
guess.
do you
Aw.
ever
No.
try, like, just in a quiet moment, think, Uncle Charles, are you there?
Mhm.
Do you ever try and
Mhm.
talk to him?
I mean, I haven't done that in a while. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, again, it's like I orbit. That's how I tend uh, I guess, accommodate my ADHD brain, the trauma
Mm-hmm.
that has come along with all that, with
Right.
what Lori and Chad did. And I mean, I'm just trying to kind of find my own footing in this and trying to understand. But I tend to orbit. Okay, so I will look over here, then I'll look over there, and then I'm back over here, and I'm gonna make my round. I'm gonna come back to
Right.
it. Just wait.
Yeah.
And so just between those orbits, because I research into so many different aspects of this,
Mm-hmm.
so many different aspects. And I mean, I've come to learn a lot about myself in my own world and my own shelf breaking experiences, so to
Right.
speak. Just like, oh my God, the world I live in, I've
Mm-hmm.
just been so oblivious to it until this happened. I will never give Lori and Chad the credit for that because no, thank you.
They don't get
but
credit for anything. No.
but I forgot the question actually. It was
Well, here I want to put up something that Zero said because I think this is
okay, I
important to
love
have.
zero.
You have no idea how hard it is for a shy person to stand up raise your hand in front
Mhm.
of a couple hundred
Right.
people, say, "Excuse me, I just had a vision," and you have to tell it. Uh,
Oh,
and yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
Just
that
reminded me
comes.
of something.
Oh, and you're doing such a great job. That's why I wanted to put that up because you're
Thank
right,
you.
Zero. You're absolutely right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Zero, too. I love Zero's perspective on things a lot.
Mhm.
They've been around for a long time in this. As many of your chatters and my chatters have,
Right.
they've been along for the whole thing. Some people haven't. And I mean, either way, you connected and I'm glad you're here. But thank you. Oh, how I got my name? It was
Yes.
from my dad.
But don't
My
forget
my
don't forget
my
the
dad.
story.
I won't. I
Okay.
won't.
So your dad
Um
gave it to you. Okay.
and okay, so yeah, my real dad, um yeah, it was gonna be Kresha. Thank God it's not. I get called Kresha, but
Yeah.
um, one of his friends or whatever was like, "Why don't you try Kresha?" And I'm just
That's just
like,
so
and
pretty.
then my
That's so
brother was
pretty.
born, and so that was my mom and my real dad, and then my mom and my stepdad had a son, Todd,
Mhm.
and then my dad and my stepmom had a son, same year, 5 months apart. I got
Mhm.
brothers, Todd and Eric, and I'm like, Kresha, Todd, and Eric. Okay, I'm odd, right? My
But
name is odd compared
Todd and
to
Eric
Todd and
are
Eric.
regular names, and Kresh is like, "Huh?"
And
But it's such
it
a
was
pretty
gonna
name.
if I were gonna be a boy, it was gonna be Brandon, and I'm just like, Brandy? I mean, it's
I love it.
a girl name, you know?
So tell
Anyways,
us the story that you remembered.
so and this was, um, crap, it was in okay, the year okay, I had to think again. My stepdad, Dennis, died in April of
Mhm.
2021, I think.
Okay.
April 2021-ish.
Mhm.
And so we, got the news. My mom, so I mean, he's my stepdad, but I was raised kind of like how Colby's last name changed, but it wasn't through adoption. Well, the same thing
Right.
happened to me. It's like I was raised around Dennis from the time I was 18 months old and up. I didn't know any other dad. Just
Mhm.
he was my dad. But I mean, I came to learn different over the years. And so my last name changed to Trahan. Anyway, so I just was always Kresha Trahan. Kresha Easton is actually my birth name. You
Okay.
know, it's my real dad's name. So when my dad Dennis died, my stepdad Todd's dad, JJ's biological grandfather, died
Okay.
in April of 2021. My
Mhm.
mom, her and Larry would get like these comps at these casino and hotels. Okay.
Mhm.
And so my mom got a room at La Berge de Lac, and she invited me and my brother to go just stay with her in the room, and she was gonna come with us to my stepdad's, services, funeral service.
Okay.
And there's always been a lot of tension around that because of my stepmom. She is horrible. A step monster,
Oh,
totally
I'm
all the
so
way.
sorry. I
And
know that I
so,
know about
yeah,
that.
she really pushed me and my brother out
Mhm.
and whatever, and controlled the narrative from there.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I was already feeling hesitant about going because of her
Mhm.
and because I didn't want the last thing about my dad to be her being a bitch,
Right.
like, I didn't
Understand.
wanna people think I was gonna go if my brother was gonna go, and so
Sure.
my mom and me, we never could rope Todd in. He's a bit of a runner in that sense where
Mhm.
he would call and he would just be like, "And this and this and this," and I'm just like, "Oh, I get
Yeah.
it," but mom really wanted I guess her expectation was, "Hey, I'm gonna go back my kids. I'm gonna
Yes.
be there. I'm gonna protect them."
Good.
Whatever. But we were like, I'm like, "Well, if Todd doesn't wanna go, I back that 100%." I'm right there with
Sure.
you, Todd. And
Okay.
so all this happened. So, I mean, there were periods of this during the night, okay, where
Okay.
we'd get him on speakerphone and then he would, we'd hang up, then he'd call back. And so at this one point, mom is sitting on her bed facing me. I'm sitting on my bed facing her
Mhm.
in the hotel. And, so I got up to go to the bathroom towards the bathroom, and she started crying, and my mom is not she's never been a real spiritual person. I
Mhm.
mean, I look back now and I'm like, there weren't, like, pictures or, a lot of things with Jesus, or you know what I'm saying. Like she
Right.
never was like that, but she comes from an extreme family, a Catholic family. My grandfather shook hands with John Paul II.
The
He went and
Pope.
studied at the Vatican and stuff, and I'm just like,
Okay.
oh Lord. Ugh. Anyways, so I turn and I go towards the bathroom, and my mom starts crying, and she was like, I don't even know if God is real. I mean, she was just
Right.
kind of questioning this. And I mean, I don't know why this happened. I just know that it did happen because in that moment I did like a 180 and I just kind
Hmm.
of knelt at the foot of my bed. So she's still sitting where we were facing each other, right? So now I'm at
Right.
the foot of my bed, kneeling, and I was just like, "Mom," and I just went in, and it was an actual vision, and like was not dreaming, I was not sleeping.
Okay. What
So
happened?
this is what appeared to me. Okay. It's like me and my family, all of my family were in God's right arm. Okay. Just all
Mhm.
lined up, whatever. The way I explain it is like picture the Jolly Green Giant. Okay. This
Okay.
is how it kind of looked to me, except he wasn't green. And I didn't know what his face looked like. I just know that we were in the right arm of a very huge, whatever entity.
Okay.
Okay. And so I look down and I see like, you know, steps being taken. Like I see his feet and we're going forward, steady pace, not wavering, nothing. I mean, nothing off beat, not stumbling. We are just steadily moving forward. Okay, so
Mhm.
that's what that tells me. And then I look back over his shoulder, the entity carrying us. I would say it's God. Okay, and I look over our shoulders and I see God's army, all of you, everybody who has been here this whole time. And wow, I mean, it was so big. Just people, just for I don't know how long, as far as the eye could see, people just behind God, behind our family. And
Okay.
it was God's army. And so I'm telling my mom this, and it was just one of those weird moments that I, no
Well,
explanation for.
when you saw the people behind, did you recognize anybody? You saw
I
people,
mean,
and when
one that comes to mind was Leanne, Hicks with, the Doomsday Facebook group. I don't know
and
why.
what
That's
year was
one.
this? What year was
This was
this?
2021,
Okay, 2021. And so it was
and,
after the kids had been found and everything,
after
right?
all the things, we're now going into whenever Lori was not competent versus competent
Right.
time. This was
But
right
didn't that make you feel
Mhm.
very comforted?
Very.
It was like you needed to see that because I'm sure it was such an emotional, well, the whole thing's such an emotional time.
It
But
is.
to see something like that, that has got
It
to
was
just
beautiful.
fill your heart and soul with
Mhm.
love, knowing to me that's like a message saying, "Hey, look
I
at
got you.
I got you, and look at the people behind you that got you
Mhm.
too." You
That's
know?
his army, and
Yeah.
so, again, I don't think it's for everybody to just it's for open for interpretation. My interpretation was, "This is God. I'm holding you." It reminds me of again, okay, so my mom did have that footprints in the sand saying quoted on the
Mhm.
bathroom wall, remember? Because this is before we had cell phones, when we could
Right.
just scroll and
Sure.
roll and in there while you're doing
Exactly.
number 2, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, I remember, reflecting on that footprints in the sand, and I was just it never I guess it was overused so much, that saying or whatever. I never quite got it until that point, because that's when I was like, "Oh my god, this is like footprints in the sand, and that's why there's only one set, and that's because God's carrying
That's
you,
carrying you.
and
Right.
I've got you, and
Mhm.
you're gonna get through this." And so it's just I don't know, in that moment, that's what happened, and that
I
was
think
me
it's
relaying to
wonderful.
my mom what happened and
I
how
think
God
that
is
is
real.
wonderful, and that I'm sure helped you get through this, and it's
Mhm.
helping you this day,
Yeah. Oh god,
continuing
yeah.
to this day that it's helping you. Because
100%.
Kresha, you are doing great things. Um, I mean, you've overcome so much. Oh my God, I admire you. What you have done is just
Thank
incredible.
you.
And you continue to grow and to overcome. And again, it is such an honor that you chose us to come and tell your
Thank
stories
you.
to,
I
for
appreciate you.
your
Well,
spiritual stories, your woo woo, your ghost, whatever
it's
people want to
weird.
call it.
It's weird.
They're real.
It's
They're
out
real.
there, but they are real. I did experience these things.
They are
Again,
real.
and I just sit there and question, like, what makes mine different than Julie Rowe, than Chad Daybell? And I think it's
Because,
the intent behind it,
well,
like
first of
Yeah.
all,
how
Julie
you
Rose is
cherish
nuts.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't get
Oh
up
my
there and
god.
go, I can do heart surgery right
And
where
go
I'm standing, and then you don't
and all
change.
these little wiggy woo signs.
Oh,
I'm just like, what the hell is
jeez.
she doing, man?
Yeah.
Big
Bippity
difference.
boppity.
Stay
And you
way
Man.
don't
away
get
from her.
yeah, exactly. Oh
Yeah.
my God, don't even get me
It's
going on Julie
crazy,
Rowe.
right? Whenever y'all when you had Lauren on and y'all shared from Lauren's channel how she was doing an introduction to Julie Jackson, okay,
Hmm.
which was somebody that was kind of following Julie Rowe
Right.
after the kids were, like as this was still going on, after the kids were found, after all these things, and so at that beginning of that, and it had Julie Rowe, and she was doing the weird,
Her weird
uh,
thing.
and
Yeah,
I was just like, oh my, and going, "Rrr," and I was like, what the hell? That freaked me the hell out.
that was so crazy. That was scary.
Bad,
Yeah.
because I've conversed with her.
Hmm.
I emailed her right before Chad's trial started, and I just was
What did
like,
she say? What made
I
you
was
email her, number one, and
because
what did
I've
she
been
say?
wanting to. Like, I've always
Mhm.
wanted to. I
Yeah.
still have so many questions for Sean Little Bear, for all these people, they just think because they do an interview or whatever, that that's just gonna satisfy the
Right.
public, uh, I guess, curiosity. But
Mhm.
Exactly.
it doesn't satisfy mine,
Yeah.
Hmm.
because there were conversations that, Sean Little Bear had with my parents before any of this. As the kids were missing, after Uncle Charles was dead,
Right.
Sean Little Bear was contacting my parents, okay? And I just wanna know. There's a Melanie Gibb recording that my mom actually has that she's gonna give to me, that's never been shared before, and it's
Are
whenever
you
they
gonna
talk to
share it?
Melanie Gibb. We live in a one-party state, so
Good. You
you
should share
can.
it.
I will
Let
as
me
soon as we get their hands on it.
let me know, and we'll promote that. Okay, we'll promote that. So,
I
what
mean,
did
because
you
I
say?
wanna know what's in there. I wanna know what Melanie Gibb told my parents, because I know how she acted after. It was at Chad Daybell's preliminary hearing, whenever Melanie Gibb was right there behind my mom and dad, or right there with my mom and dad, talking to them, at that hearing during break, or before it went live, I guess you could say. It
Right.
was
Right.
live, but the hearing wasn't in session yet. And I'm just like, I don't want her. Why the hell did she feel so compelled to be able to even touch my parents, talk to
I
my
agree.
parents?
How dare she?
Like, what the hell is she telling them?
How dare exactly.
And how dare you? Oh, anyway,
So
so
let me get back to Julie Rowe. If you don't mind
mhm.
telling us, what did you email her? And
Oh,
this
yeah.
was fairly recently. And what did she say
Mhm.
back?
So I just thought to email her and just kind of, as a human, okay, as a human
Hmm.
being, with empathy and compassion for the situation. Um, I emailed her and I was like, "Hey, I just wanted to reach out to you and just, offer, or extend my condolences. This must be a trying time for you."
Hmm.
Because I mean, I didn't know how much she would be mentioned throughout Chad's trial. Holy shit. That was a
Right.
lot of mentions, a lot of shout outs there for Julie
That,
Rowe. And then for her to show up and try to get into the courtroom, and
that
then
was
finding out that
crazy.
she was a witness, and we're like, for who?
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, oh my God. But so I emailed her and reached out to her, and she emailed me back. I mean, I'd have to pull it up.
And
I don't like
so,
quoting people.
right.
Um,
And what did she
but
say?
she was just like, "Oh my god, thank you," and "I'm so sorry for what you've experienced," and very nice, it was very
Well, that's
cordial, and
good.
then so I was like, "Okay, if you wanna talk anytime after this," so I would share it publicly,
Right.
like, if
Right.
you ever wanna come on and just clear the air,
Hmm.
whatever you wanna say, you have a platform here where I'll listen for sure,
Right. Right.
and I mean, because I do wanna know more. I wanna know
Hmm.
more. Whatever that looks like, you know, it
And I'm
is what
sure
it
she's
is.
got things she could tell you about Chad and Lori that
Um,
she probably hasn't
because
told anybody else.
yeah, and why was she meeting with Chad? Why were they meeting with Tom Harrison, the Visions of
There you
Glory
go.
author?
Yeah.
I
Vision.
want to know these things.
Yeah.
And so but since then, so again, I've been going through trial, right? So
Hmm.
very busy processing all the information that's coming in daily. It's
Right.
just like a FOIA dump every day. You're just like, oh
Hmm.
God, oh God. Um, but during that, she actually, we exchanged phone numbers even, and she texted me, and it was like jibble jabble. It was just gibberish. And so I'm just like,
Really? Oh, wow, that's too bad. That's really
it's
too bad.
I'm just like, demon,
Yeah.
you know,
Is this the demon
wow,
Julie Rowe? What the heck? Yeah.
yeah, what are we today?
Yeah.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So again, I understand. I understand what she's involved in it, how she was involved in it. I just want to know to what degree and why was Jeff Rowe, her ex-husband now, why was his name in the FOIA docs
Right.
under the different past lives and things like that?
Yeah.
Why was he assigned in there? Why was he a witness? Next to
Yeah.
witness, it said Jeff Rowe. And what's kind of the ritual aspect of this? So
You've
that's
got a lot of questions and you deserve those answers. You do.
I think
You
the case
absolutely
does.
do.
The victims do for sure.
Well, and so do you. So do you. Um, real quick. Okay. I'm looking. We've had, I don't know if you ever have this problem, Kresha, but all of a sudden our incredible mods in our chat, their wrenches will disappear. Nobody's done anything. Nobody
No.
touched anything, And
Hmm.
again, I just
Woo
blame it.
woo.
I blame it on Chad and the portal. That's the only
I
thing you
do
can.
too. Dilemma for sure. She always catches. She's the fall guy
Yeah,
for the.
she's the fall guy for everything. It's the
We're like,
lemma.
damn
She
you,
did it.
Dilemma.
She did it. She did it.
So
Well,
I've
listen.
been really this past week, ever since well, actually ever since Summer appeared on CrimeCon
Hmm.
at CrimeCon, and just all the things where people were just kind of giving her because of the phone call that was revealed in Lori's trial between Lori and her sister, where she's just like, wow.
Yeah.
I get it. I side with her there. However, I wanted to see for myself. And so, I came on here on a Thursday and shared again,
You
just
said
with
that right.
the text between Lori and Summer, where she said, I'll kill him myself.
Yeah.
And then, the detective was like, it doesn't, basically, we don't know who Summer was wanting to kill. And I'm just like, well, I have an idea. And
Well,
then you
gosh,
came back with
what are
the
the odds?
Edgar text, and I was
Right.
like, okay, so that's when I really immersed myself into the FOIA documents again. So this whole past week, for sure, I've been just reading. I mean, all the way down the line, the Gilbert documents, also from Brandon's
Mhm.
case. And I mean, some of it is Uncle Charles too.
Right.
And I mean, really trying to glean. So I punched in Summer's name. It comes
Hmm.
up 100 and I want to say 118 times in the FOIA docs from Chandler. It
Yeah.
comes up I want to say 6 or 7 times in the Gilbert documents.
Oh,
And
wow.
I have just been copying and pasting those conversations into my Canva app so that I can make a slideshow out of them. And that's what I'm going to share Monday. I'm not going to do a live stream
Oh,
Sunday. I'm going to do one Monday.
great. Oh,
And it's
send me
got
the
all,
link.
yeah, okay, because I will. And it's got the whole conversation around um, Edgar, about
Hmm.
Edgar, okay, how Lori brought him into this. She was like,
Edgar was
you know,
Summer's former
boyfriend.
fiance.
So that's
Yeah.
what I was doing. I was taking
Yeah.
clips from whenever, Megan popped on and she was explaining who Edgar is to as much as she knows, doing the
Well,
full
she was
disclosure
saying
kind of
Edgar
thing,
wouldn't
disclaimer.
miss, and you make it look like he makes it look like an accident, like he had done
I
it
mean, come
before.
Right.
on,
Yeah.
what the
Sounds like
hell?
you've done it many times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, what is going on here?
Yeah,
So
exactly. That's what
that's
I
Oh,
a
I
lot
can't
said.
wait for Monday.
too.
That's going to be
Yeah.
Oh
great.
my,
We'll share
it's
that too with everybody.
Yeah,
that's what
Yeah.
absolutely.
so that's what sparked like kind of sparked me into this
Yes.
direction was this whole, what's kind of been released as far as like you getting. So what I wanted to do was, okay, I'd found that clip or whatever of Melanie Pulowski
Yeah,
conversation with
Mhm.
Lori about Brandon and about could he go before I move? Could he possibly go before I move?
right. Go
Meaning
means die.
zap him,
Yeah.
kill him. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I take it as. So I
No question.
remember
Yeah.
it was the FBI agent Hart in Lori's trial, and so I happened to find that clip, and so I did upload it and shared it. So, but I was going to do one where it would show like Summer's face, then Lori's, whoever's talking, you
Right.
know,
Back and
and just
forth.
kind of do a video of the interactions. So I'm a visual person, so
Oh, that'd
it
be
helps
great.
me to kind of put it into perspective. So that, and then I was like, well, I want to quote Summer exact, like I don't want to just quote on what you said, I want
Right.
to go to the source. So
No, you should.
that's
Yeah.
where it led me. And so I'm deep in the weeds of that. And I'm just like, wow, wow.
Cool.
It's mind blowing to
That is,
me. And so I'm just
wonderful.
gonna kind of go through the FOIA docs, or we're gonna kind of pull those conversations out. We're going to talk about them and we're going to share them. You be the, everybody can be the judge. I have to do the same thing until it actually comes out in court. So
We will be there Monday, and I think in court on Monday, not in court on Monday, in court in Lori's trial, it is going to be
shit
there's
show.
going to be a lot. Yeah, it's going to be a chit show. They're going to have all kinds of things show up that the Cox family is just going to go, yikes. I think we're going to
Yeah,
find
they're going to want to hide in a cavity of a rock. But I mean, again,
exactly.
it's like, hey, it's not admitting any fault, but you did
Right.
play into the system. You did play into
Exactly.
this. And I just want that to be acknowledged. And then
Absolutely
once
right.
you acknowledge it, then you can work on it. Then you can work on
Absolutely.
fixing that and breaking that cycle. And I mean,
Perfect.
that's what Megan's real big on. I'm all about that. And again, there's a lot of denial. I was watching, Rex and Adam's podcast earlier, and I was just like,
Yeah, they're
Yeah, there's
denying.
just some things that, I mean, some things I can relate with them about, and something I'm just like, yeah, no.
I know.
You
It's
know,
Kresha, we do have to go because I want to give Ping time to set up. He's
Ping.
our buddy Ping. He's our
Yes.
buddy in Australia. He's
She
getting
knows
ready.
her. Yep.
But listen, I am so honored and grateful that you came on our platform and
Thank
you
you.
brought your chatters with you. We welcome them all. I am so
Thanks.
glad that you told us these things. They are your experiences. I believe they're real. They're real to you, and I think you had them to help you through this god
I
awful
think so. I think so.
event. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, anything
Interesting.
you need, we are here, my darling.
Thank
Okay.
you. And same. Okay. Same.
You got it. You got it.
All
Okay. We'll
right.
talk soon.
I'll see you later.
Thanks
I'll try and
again.
get out of here this time.
Bye bye. No, I love her. I love her. I love her. And everybody from Kresha's Difficult Research, thank you for coming over tonight. You guys are the best. Thank you very, very much. So listen, I want to give Ping some time to get ready here. He's going to go at 20 past the hour. That would be 12:20 a.m. Eastern, 11:20 Central, 10:20 Mountain, and 9:20 Pacific. So got about 8 minutes or so. But I just wanted to thank everybody in chat and thank our wonderful moderators. Oh my gosh. Moonlight View, Four Sons Mom, Yuta from across the pond, Leisha Gallegos, I think she was here tonight. And anyway, thank you all very much. And for Kresha's moderators as well. And Insightful One, we can't do this without you. So everybody, enjoy Ping tonight. We don't do on Sunday night, but we'll be back Monday at 10:30 Eastern for Websleuths YouTube Live. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.